Good morning, students. Can you hear me? Anyone respond?
Yes,
Can you?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay. It is the time to start now. Uh, Slide is visible, no?
yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Which slide you can see?
Operator.
Okay, operators.
Operators.
Uh, does anyone tell me what we have discussed in the last class? Just headings. We have discussed basic concepts of C language, isn't it? Which topics we have covered in the last class? Does anyone tell?
Sorry. Identity.
Anyone? Just anyone? Unmute the mic and tell others to please mute your mic.
Identifiers.
Identifiers. Okay.
Keywords.
Keywords. Then structure of C
Input output
program. You remember,
Variables.
right? Yes. What about input output function? Two important input output functions also we have discussed. Printf and scanf. Okay. Now let us continue with the operators in C language. Actually, an operator is a symbol that operates on a value or a variable. For example, if we consider arithmetic operator, plus is an operator to perform addition, minus is for subtraction, then star operator is for multiplication, backslash is for division, and percentage is for modulus operation. Okay. Then second category, just brief, I will explain in brief. Second one, relational operator. A relational operator checks the relationship between two operands. It will work with the help of two operands. Mute your mic. If the relation is true, it returns 1. If the relation is false, it returns 0. Example relational operators are less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. Some relational operators are used in decision making as well as loops like for loop, while loop, etc. When we are giving condition in while loop, like n is less than or equal to 0 or n is less than or equal to 10, we are using relational operators. Similarly, decision making statements like if else, nested if else statement, etc., we are going to use a relational operator. Now, third category, logical operator. It is a symbol or word used to connect two or more expressions such that the value of the compound expression produced depends only on that of the original expressions and on the meaning of the operator. Okay, for example, if you consider logical AND operator, what happens? Output will be true only when both operands are true. Otherwise, output will be equal to false. I mean, it will return always a Boolean value, true or false. Then with respect to OR, as usual, when both the operands are false, then only it is false. Otherwise, it is true. Not operator. If operand is true, then output will be false. If it is false, output will be true. Just vice versa. So that is about logical operator. Fourth category, we have bitwise operators and or forward, then left shift, right shift, as well as negation. Bitwise operators are used for manipulating data at the bit level, also called as bit level programming. It operates at the bit level. Bitwise operates on one or more bit patterns or binary numerals at the level of their individual bits. Data is operated on individual bits. They are used in numerical computations to make the calculation process faster. Then fifth category is assignment operator. which is used for assigning a value to a variable. Then last one, increment or decrement. Mainly, we are going to use increment or decrement in loops like for loop, etc. Right now, plus plus is for auto increment, minus minus is for auto decrement. Next, let us study about control statements in C language. First, let me explain what is a control statement. Control statements enable us to specify the flow of program control. That is, the order in which the instructions in a program must be executed. They make it possible to make decisions, to perform tasks repeatedly, or to jump from one section of code to another. Got it? No. The statements inside your source files are generally executed from top to bottom in the order they appear. But the control flow statements break up the flow of execution by employing decision making or looping as well as branching, enabling your program to conditionally execute particular blocks of code. So what are the different control statements available in C language? That is if statement, if else statement, switch statement. These are the control statements. Then coming to loop, do while and for loop. And these two statements, break and continue, are used in the switch statement as well as continue statements are also used after the loop. Now let us study one by one. There are many ways to use if statements, that is categories of if statement, if else, if else if ladder, and nested if. First one is simple if statement. It is used to execute the code if the condition is true. That means it has got a particular syntax. If expression, see, remember the syntax of if statement, if, then there is no space, open a parenthesis. Expression, it can be expression or we can have direct value like if of 1 or if of 0, like that also we can have. Then close the parenthesis. This is the syntax. Then open a flower bracket. Inside the flower bracket, you can write the statements to execute. That is code to execute. Any number of statements can be written over here. Then finally close the flower bracket. So what happens is how exactly the control has been changed. If the expression is true, condition is evaluated or expression is evaluated. If it is true, this block of statements will be executed. Okay. If it is false, next statement will be executed. And one more thing, if the condition is true also, after this particular code, this next statement will be executed. Okay. In the simple if statement, there is no else part. Else part is absent means if the condition is false, next statement will be executed. If the condition is true, after this part, then next statement will be executed. This is how if statement can be used in C language. Okay, fine. What next? An idea? If else statement. That is, if the condition is true, one block of execution will be executed. If condition is false, then another block of statements will be executed. Okay. See, it's a syntax. If, same as the previous one, open the flower bracket, write the code, close the flower bracket. If the condition is true, this block. If condition is false, another block of statement will be executed. Maybe condition true or false. After that, next statement will be executed. So next statement will be executed only after first part or the second part. Every time any one block will be executed. Clear, students? Just respond once. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Understood now? If else statement. I'm not going
Yes,
to explain program, okay? Just syntax and workflow. Flow of execution I will explain. Okay, then some homework programs will be given to you. Okay, you have to write. Okay, next. If else if ladder statement. What does it do? What is the syntax? If you want to check different conditions, then we can make use of if-else if statement. Means if condition 1 or expression 1, first this expression will be checked. If it is true, code will be executed as usual. Then if it is not true, then you have second condition to check. So if first one is false, second condition will be checked. If second one is true, particular code will be executed. If second one is also false, then third condition will be checked. Okay, like that it will continue. If all the conditions are false, then else part will be executed. It is like something like default block of execution. Okay, so in C language, always the checking will be done for the condition 1. It will not check directly condition 3. Okay, first condition 1, then condition 2, then condition 3. And if condition 1 is true, then after executing this part, directly next statement will be executed. Okay, the statement which is written after this else block will be executed. Here no, condition 1 will be checked. If true, particular block. If false, second condition will be checked. If true, second one is true, code will be executed. If it is false, then condition 3 will be checked. If all conditions are false, then else block will be executed. This is the working of if-else if ladder. And what is the use of switch statement? See, switch statement works exactly similar to your previous if-else if ladder. Okay, working is similar, but in computer programming languages, a switch statement is a type of selection control mechanism used to allow the value of a variable or expression to change the control flow of the program execution via search and map. Search and map means first expression will be evaluated, then depending upon the value, particular case will be executed. Okay, so expression, something like a less than b or something like that. Okay, any expression or direct value can also be given over here. Then if it matches, value of the expression matches with the value 1, then this code will be executed. Code according to value 1 will be executed. Okay, then if not, it will check whether value 2 is proper or not. Expression matches with value 2. If so, case 2 will be executed. Then what is the meaning of this default block? If it doesn't match with any value, expression value doesn't match with any cases, then default code will be executed. This is about a switch statement. But next, very important concept, that is looping. Looping is one of the key concepts on any programming language. It executes a block of statements number of times until the condition becomes false. Okay, in C we have 3 types of loops, that is do while, which is called as exit control loop, and while, entry control loop, as well as for loop. Let us see one by one. Do while loop. Are you following? Students, are you following what I am telling?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you able?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Are you able to recall the concepts which you have studied in first year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
do while loop. How it is executed? Okay, always it is better if we have to execute the code at least once, because it is exit controlled loop. Exit control means condition will be checked after executing the body of the loop once, at least once. Okay, so first you go through the flowchart over here. I think you know how to write a flowchart and all. Okay, code inside body of do while loop. Okay, so once, at least once, this code will be executed, then condition will be checked. If the condition is true, then return to body of the loop. Okay, return over here. Otherwise, if condition is false, then end of the loop. Right now, execute the code once, check the condition. If it is true, go back. If it is false, then end of the loop. Just terminate. So simple code I have written. It's not an exact program. Okay, see, this is the syntax. Do, open flower bracket, then write the statement which you need to execute, then followed by while and condition. Okay. Now example, n is initialized with 0. Do printf hi. I am just going to print hi. How many times? It depends upon the condition given in the while loop. Okay, inside the while loop, do while loop, I have incremented value of n. N is initialized with 0. So once hi will be printed, after printing hi, condition will be checked. N is less than 4. Yes, n is less than 4. Okay, when value is 1, then condition is true, no? So body of the loop is again executed. Second time hi will be printed. Like that, it will continue till n value is not less than 4. When n value becomes 4, then terminate from the loop. So minimum, I mean, how many times hi will be printed? For 0, initially, 1,
4 times.
2, 3, as well as 4. Correct, no? Condition will be checked at the end. So for the 4, value 4 also, hi will be printed, isn't it?
Yes,
or no?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, understood, right? Okay, now
Yes,
the
ma'am.
same code, let us write the same code for while loop. You have to identify the difference now. Anyone can tell me now itself?
Yes,
They
ma'am.
first
How
then
many
the
times?
The
output.
condition
First condition is checked.
condition is checked and
Check
then
it
the
first, no? So
yes, ma'am.
1 less
3
than.
times. 3
Yes,
times.
yes. 0, 1, 2, 3. I mean, total 4. I have initialized the value 0, no? So 0, 1, 2, 3. Correct, no? See, okay. It is the syntax. While condition is checked initially, then code condition is true, code will be executed. If condition is false, come out of the loop and execute next statement. So initialization part we have, then condition. If condition is true, go inside the body of the loop. Okay, then return. If condition is false, then end of the loop. So body of the loop will be executed until condition is true. Same code, n is initialized with 0, while n is less than 4, printf hello and increment the value of n. So initially n is equal to 0, hello will be printed, n becomes 1, it is less than 4. So second time hello will be printed. Next time n value will be equal to 2, will be printed. N value will be equal to 3, hello will be printed. Next time n value is 4, at that time condition is false, then come out of the loop. So total number of times hello will be printed is how much? Anyone?
3.
3 or 4?
3 times.
4
3
times,
times.
ma'am. 4 times, ma'am.
4 times.
4 times. 4 times, right?
4.
n is
The
equal to 0.
previous one 5 times, I guess.
Yes, previous time 5 times, now 4 times. Now you understood the meaning of at least once in while loop. Correct now? See, one first statement I have given now, it is better if you have to execute the code at least once. Correct? So first time code will be executed, later condition will be checked into while loop. But in while loop, not like that. So it is called entry controlled loop. Okay, fine. Some example programs I will give you later. What next? For loop. How it is executed? Very, very important looping concept in C, for loop. In matrix multiplication or searching or sorting, we are going to use for loop. Without for loop, we cannot do any, I mean, not any, some, in many programs, we are going to use for loop. Syntax, for, open the parenthesis, it has got 3 parts: initialization, condition, then increment or decrement. Initialization, we can initialize a variable to 0 or 1 or 2 depending upon our problem definition. Okay. Then inside after that, after writing for loop, open the flower bracket. If you have two or more statements, then open the flower bracket, otherwise no need. You know that point, right? If a for loop contains only one single statement to execute, then no need to use this flower bracket. If it has got two or three statements, then you have to put the flower bracket like this. Okay. Flow chart, initialization, that is the first part of our for loop. Then condition will be checked. If the condition is true, go inside the loop. Then at the same time, it will be incremented or decremented. Again, condition will be checked. If it is true, once again, second iteration. I mean, we are calling it as iteration now, right? First iteration, second iteration, third iteration, like that. Okay, condition is true, second iteration of the loop. Okay, like that, update the counter. If the condition is false, then stop, come out of the for loop. When condition is true, understood, right? Small
Yes,
code I
ma'am,
have
ma'am.
given. Small code,
Ma'am.
n is equal to 0, n less than 4, n plus plus. Printf, good. How many times? For n value 0, n value 1, n value 2, n value
4 times.
3. Total 4 times. Right now? Yes, fine.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this
Ma'am,
is,
in do while also it is 4 times, ma'am.
huh?
Not do while also it is 4 times, ma'am, not 5 times.
Why?
Once check, ma'am.
You can check it later, okay? Okay, same program I will give you for the execution. Okay, later we can come to a conclusion. Now, arrays. What is an array? Any idea?
Array is a sequence, the collection of data.
Okay, homogeneous elements or the similar data type, right? If I declare int, then only integer data elements we can store. But elements are stored in contiguous memory location. Okay, array is a group or collection of homogeneous elements and stored in contiguous memory location. So declaration, data type, followed by array name, followed by array size. Okay, one diagram I have given here. Please mute your mic. Int A of 4, array with the 4 items. Then this 0, 1, 2, 3 are called as index. Correct now? Array index. We can store 4 items over here. In array, we have two types, one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. Let us see one-dimensional and two-dimensional array. And in module 1 also, we are going to study arrays in detail. That's why just introduction I will give you. These are the advantages of array. The first one, code optimization. That means array always represent multiple data items of the same type using a single name, isn't it? The main advantage of array is that you can declare multiple number of array with the same variable name. Means, for example, if you need to add 10 numbers, no need to declare num1, num2, num3, num4 like that. Just num is the name of the array followed by array size you can give. That is the advantages. Optimization with respect to memory utilization. But one main disadvantage is also there. If its size is fixed. Once you declare array with 10 data elements, you cannot use 11 elements at that particular time. You have to change. During runtime, you can't change. They are called, if you want to change the size of array during runtime, it is called as dynamically allocated array. Dynamic memory allocation, we will study in module 1. Then second and third, they are related. With respect to arrays, it is easy to traverse the data as well as easy to sort the data. Sorting, bubble sort, quick sort, etc. Traverse the data means just going through the data elements of the array. Why? The reason is arrays allocate the memory in contiguous locations for all its element. If first element is stored in 100th location, then second element will be stored in 101st place, third element 102nd place, fourth element 103rd place. Okay, like that. Therefore, it is easy to traverse or sort the array elements in an orderly fashion. Last point, random access. Random access means accessing the data element either from the beginning or in the middle or from the end. So in arrays, the elements can be accessed randomly by using the index number. This is possible because elements are stored in continuous manner, as well as they are stored with the help of index number. Okay, so more detailed discussion we will do in module 1. Then, what about two-dimensional array? Two-dimensional array, it is mainly used for matrix, isn't it? We have rows and columns. It is also known as array of arrays or list of arrays. This is how to declare two-dimensional array. Data type, int or float, followed by array name, followed by size 1 and size 2. This size 1 and size 2 refers to rows and columns. If I declare int a of 3, 2, then there are 3 rows and 2 columns. An example I have two-dimensional array. It is initialized array initialization. You can initialize array like this. Int array 3, 4 means 3 rows and 4 columns. Then this flower bracket, first flower bracket and indicates initialization syntax, and second flower bracket indicate the value which are initialized for row 1, row 2 and row 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 indicates in first row we have the data 1, 2, 3 and 4. In second set of values 2, 3, 4, 5 means in the second row we have the data 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then third row we have 4, 5, 6. So third row is having the data 3, 4 and 5, 6. This is how data is stored in two-dimensional array. Okay, now please take down some homework problem. 4 C programs I have given over here. You just take down. At that time, I will call your attendance. Got it now? You can write this program and execute. Okay, take down everyone, and also when I call your name, answer your attendance. Adesh, visible now? Slide is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Adesh,
Present, ma'am.
Adarsh,
Present, ma'am.
Adarsha P, AP, Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
Advit, okay, Afia.
Present, ma'am.
Students, slide is visible now. I am on another screen. Okay, just watching participants as well as attendance. Okay, you are able to see the slide now.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh? You keep on writing. Okay, Afia.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Ajay Kumar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ajay. Ajay Yan.
Ma'am.
Okay, Akshay.
Present, ma'am.
Amruta. Where is Amruta? Anisha. Anish,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Anushri,
Present, ma'am.
Bhavana,
Present,
Bhavana.
ma'am.
Okay.
Present.
Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra, NJ, is there. Okay. Chandan, Chetan,
Present, ma'am.
uh, Chintan, Chintan, Chiral, yes, there.
Present, ma'am.
Deepika, okay, Deepika, yes,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Devadatta,
Present, ma'am.
Devi Prasad, Dhanush,
Present, ma'am.
Danya,
Present, ma'am.
Daritri,
Present, ma'am.
Divyashri, Divyashri, Fatima,
Present, ma'am.
Susanna,
Present, ma'am.
Azmia, Shamna,
Present, ma'am.
Ganavi, Hartik,
Yes, ma'am.
Hemant,
Present, ma'am.
Swati,
Present, ma'am.
Janavi, Varun,
Yes, ma'am.
Yashwant,
Yes, ma'am.
Samita,
Present, ma'am.
Kartik,
Present, ma'am. Present,
Kaustuba,
ma'am.
Kavyashri, okay, Kavyashri,
Present, ma'am.
Ketan,
Present, ma'am.
Kaushik,
Present, ma'am.
Kshema,
Present, ma'am.
Lahari,
Present, ma'am.
Erin,
Present, ma'am.
Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Rashmita, Haris, Mahima,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Mega, okay, I can see
Present, ma'am.
Mega, Namita,
Present, ma'am.
Naveen,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
okay, Nidhi, Nikhil, Nisarga, and Nisha.
Present, ma'am.
Have you taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then functions, let us discuss last topic for basic concepts of C, that is functions, user defined functions. Why do we use user defined functions? User defined functions are used in C language to perform any task
Which is
any
defined
number of
by
times, right?
user.
No? A function can be called many times. So in the program, if you want to add some numbers many times repeatedly, if you want to include the code for adding 2 or 3 numbers, then you can write a function sum. So whenever you want to add those numbers, then call the function sum instead of writing the code everywhere. So it provides modularity and code reusability. Modularity, modular fashion. You can write the C program in a modular fashion or beautiful fashion. Then you can reuse the code. With respect to efficiency, also it can reduce the line of code in your C program. That's why code is optimized. Optimized code. Number of lines are reduced if you use a function. So this is the syntax. Return type means int or float or character like that, followed by function name. Function name can be sum or difference, etc. Then followed by parameters, data type parameters like int n or float a, something like that. Then code to be executed. You can write C is equal to A plus B. If you want to have a user-defined function for adding two numbers, then C is equal to A plus B, you can write, but you have to pass the parameters. Okay, that is actually we have two parts, function declaration and function definition. Declare the function immediately after the header file declaration, then just declare, then definition is needed after the main function or before the main function also you can use. Then what is the syntax to call the function? In main function, we need to call either like this, it's the return value, function's return value can be stored in this variable, or directly also without storing a value in a variable also you can call the function. Let us see one example. And here I am going to discuss only call by value, because call by reference is makes use of pointer concept. We will discuss when we discuss pointer concept in module 1. So this is about call by value function call. In call by value, the value is being passed to the function and is locally stored by the function parameter in stack memory location. You see about this stack and all in detail we'll study in the second module. Okay, so in call by value, what happens? Direct the value is being passed to the function. What happens is, if you change the value of the function parameter, it is changed for the current function only. It is not going to change in the calling function or the main function. Okay, so it will not change the value of the variable inside the caller method such as main. Suppose, okay, we have an example. Main function calls a function sum. Then if you want to change the parameters, then it is going to change only in the function call, not in the calling function. For example, go through this program. I just put one program over here. We have a function. Listen, students, carefully. We have user defined function. Okay, here directly I have done function definition first. So I have just discarded the function declaration. Void change into num. I mean, we are going to change one variable value. Okay, I'm going to use a variable num. So there is one printf statement. Before adding value inside the function is printed as num. Okay, then I am going to add 100 to the previous value. Then again printing after adding value inside the function is this one. See, here I am printing before and here I am printing after. This is the function to change the value. Now in main function, x is declared with the value 100. Initialized, x is initialized with the value 100. Okay. Here also I am going to print the value before the function, means it should print 100, isn't it? Value to be printed is 100. Then call the function change. Change of x means what is the x value here? X is initialized with the 100. So value 100 will be passed to this function. Here it is a num, okay, called as num. Function argument and function parameters. This is the argument and this is the parameter. Okay, now what happens? See, try to understand how exactly the control will be changed from one function to another. Initially, operating system starts its execution from the main function. So now and here, whenever I call this function, control will be changed to this function. Okay, change of the x function is called now. Control is with this function. it will print before adding value inside the function. What is the value? That is 100. So this printf statement will be executed. So value will be 100. Next, num means, what is the num value? 100 plus 100, that is 200. So after this statement is going to be printed. Later, end of the function, no, control will come to the main function. By default, control will come after the function call x value, but here there is no change. Value will be changed only here because we are not returning a value to the main function. Okay, we are not returning a value to the main function, so here x value will be 100 only. Okay, whether explanation is clear, and we will see the output. Yes, ready to see the output now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is the output. See how which is the first printf statement to be printed before function call x is equal to 100. I will show you. See, remember the first statement before function call x is equal to 100 means this one. You can see the arrow mark, right? Which arrow mark I am, which printf statement I am pointing.
Yes.
Okay, this
Yes,
is the first one. Okay, now function is called no change of x, so control is here. So after printing these two statements, then finally this value will be printed. So here value will be 100, correct? First value is 100. What about the second value? Before adding the same value, isn't it? We are just pass the value x value to the function call. So before adding, the value will be 100 only. After that, it is incremented. No, we have added 100 to the previous value 100. So after adding, value will be 200. So function definition is over now. It is executed, and then again control comes to the main function. So you will get one more printf statement, that is after function call x is equal to 100. See, this one will be executed at the end after function call, but value is 100 only because there is no passing of values from user defined function to the main function. So this is about the basics of C program. Okay, now time is there, still 15 minutes. Let us start with the module 1. Able to see, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
A small brief introduction let us have. In the module 1, we will study introduction to data structures. What are the different types of data structures? How it is classified? Okay. Then some discussion about arrays as well as strings, structures as well as unions. See, this is the description of module 1, introduction. As I told you, what is data structure, what is data, etc. Then classification, primitive and non-primitive. Then data structure operations, review of arrays, structures, self-referential structures, unions, etc. Then pointers. See, and once again in module 1 also we are recalling the concepts which you have studied in C programming. There you studied only the basics, the definition and small simple example. But now some advanced topics we are going to study. And many important thing is over here is dynamic memory allocation. Then representation of linear arrays, dynamically allocated arrays. I told no while I was discussing about arrays, its size is static, size is fixed. We cannot change, but it's possible to change when we use dynamically allocated arrays. Followed by array operations. Here we are going to discuss some programs. One lab program is there on array operation, like traversing, inserting the data to the existing array, deleting the data from a particular array index, searching the data, and sorting the data using bubble sort, followed by multi-dimensional arrays, polynomials, as well as sparse matrices. Then coming to the strings. What is string? That is basic terminology. Storing, operations on the string, that is concatenation, how to concatenate two strings. Like if first string is VCVT, second string is putOr, how to concatenate it into a single string, how to find out the length of a string, how to replace a string, that is pattern matching algorithm means how to replace a particular string. First identify the string and then replace by another string. Again, your second lab program is based upon string concept. First program, array operation, and second program, it is string operation. And for the module 1, we need to refer total 3 textbooks. Textbook 1 is Horowitz and Sahni, and textbook 2 is Seymour Lipscott, as well as one reference book, that is just one small topic, chapter 1, 1.4. Okay, whenever it comes, I will tell you from which textbook it is considered. Now, starting with the basic terminologies, some special or new words you are going to hear in this first module. Now, the first one is data. And one more thing, this chapter introduces the subject of data structure and presents an overview of the content of the text. So basic terminology and concepts will be defined and relevant examples are provided for you. First one, data. As you know, data is a known fact, or we can also say that data are simply the values or sets of values. Suppose consider your name. Okay, your name is known fact. Your name can be divided into first name, initial, and last name. Okay, so a data item refers to a single. See, second point. It refers to single unit of values. But the data items can also be divided into 2 types. What are those? One is group item. Okay, just concentrate highlighted point, group item or elementary item. Then you might ask me, what is group item and what is elementary item? The data items that are divided into sub items are called as group items. Okay, that is what is group item. It can be divided into sub item. Consider your name. As I told you, name can be divided into first name, initial, last name, etc. Okay, but what about the other category, elementary item, which are not divided or subdivided into sub item are called as elementary item. For example, given there, just go through. Data item cannot be subdivided into sub item. For example, your PAN card number. PAN card number is having some letters and numbers. It cannot be divided further, like first name, middle name, etc. Similarly, bank passbook number, which is issued by the bank, will not be subdivided. Similarly, your USN, right? No, which is the combination of letters and digits, but it cannot be divided into sub items. So it is called considered as a single item and called as elementary item. Now, collection of data are organized into hierarchy of fields, records, and files. Okay, we will study what is a field, what is record, and what is file. Actually, field means, let us consider the same example. Name is a field which is divided into different categories like first name, initial, etc. Then record is nothing but a collection of fields for n number of students, for example. Okay, got it now? Record is collection of fields, and file means collection of record. Clear now? Field is the very simple one. Then record means collection of field for a number of students or something else. then file is nothing but collection of records. Some other basic terminologies, for example, entity. It is a special word, right? Entity. It is something that has certain attributes or properties which may be assigned values. For example, entity, you consider gender. If gender is entity, it is assigned with two values, right? Male or female. If you consider name, it is divided into first name, middle name, and last name. Clear now? That is called as entity. It is something that has certain attributes or the properties. Values may be numeric or non-numeric. Are you following, students? Yes? Anyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Ah.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you analyze the example? Employee of an organization. See, there are some properties or attributes. Okay, are entities. Entity, name, age, sex, employee code. What are the values which are assigned for those attributes? Name is John. Age is 33. Sex or gender is male. Employee code is some 13472. Okay, so entire thing is called as entity. Entity is having some attributes. Okay, clear? What about clear about entity? Isn't it? Entity is having some values. Now, entity set. What is entity set? Entity with similar attributes. For example, all the employees in an organization or all the students of a college form an entity set. Okay, all the students will be having different name, different USN, but they are having similar attribute. One student name is one attribute. For the second student also name is attribute. For the third student name is one attribute. Similarly, semester, section, all are common. Attributes are common. They are called as entity set. Clear now? Entity set means set of values having similar attributes. Then is it possible to have range of values? Yes, each attribute of an entity set has a range of values. If I consider USN, in your class, USN starts from 001 to 121. So range of values, it is possible to give range of values for the entity. Means in bracket, given set of possible values that could be assigned to a particular attribute. For USN attribute, you can give from 001 to 121. Next, terminology is about information. What is information? Data with the given attribute or processed data is called information. Sometimes used for data with the given attributes or in other words, meaningful or processed data. So everything, every known fact is information. Once again, proper definition for field, record and file. Already I explained one. The way that the data are organized into the hierarchy of fields, records and files reflect the relationship between the attributes, entities and entity sets. That is, a field is a single elementary unit of information representing an attribute of an entity, and record is the collection of field values, and file is the collection of records of the entities in a given entity set. Clear now? Field is the first unit, elementary unit of information. Record is the collection of field values, and file is the collection of records. Example, you can see entity, record and file. Name A, B, C, D. Name is entity, age is entity. Then fields for student A. Age is 18, sex is male, USN something, and branch is CSC. For B also same attribute. For C, attribute names are same but values are different. It is called as record, keeping track of all the information of the students in a particular class. Then one more thing, each record in a file may contain many field items, but the value in a certain field may uniquely determine the record in the file. Such a field is called as primary key, and the values, something like K1, K2, etc., such a field are called as keys or key values. You will study about this primary key values in DBMS subject, database management subject. Now, is it possible to classify the record? The answer is yes. We can classify the record into two types, fixed length record and variable length records. So what is the function, important point under fixed length record? In fixed length record, all the records contain the same data item with the same amount of space assigned to each data item. As the name indicates, space is fixed. Is that clear? Same data items with the same amount of memory. But in variable length records, file records may contain different lengths. Okay, one file may be having some 100 KB of length, another file may be having some 500 MB of length. For example, student records usually have variable length since different students take different numbers of courses. Usually, variable length records have a minimum and a maximum length. So, the above organization of data into fields, records, and files may not be complex enough to maintain and efficiently process certain collection of data. Okay, may not be possible, may not be complex enough. So, for this reason, data are also organized into more complex types of structures. The study of such data structures, which forms the subject matter of our subject data structures, include the following three steps. Okay, these are the three steps. First one is logical or mathematical description of the structure. So data can be classified into logical or mathematical, based upon logical or mathematical description or the implementation of the structure on a computer. So implementation will be different. And third one, quantitative analysis of the structure, which includes determining the amount of memory needed to store the structure and the time required to process the structure. So based upon these three key points, the different data can be classified into different fields. Now about data structure, let us continue in the next class. Fine now? Shall we finish? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Yes,
Try
ma'am.
to execute those 4 programs. Okay. If you have a laptop or desktop, execute those programs in Ubuntu. Clear? Last program you have executed in your C program, isn't it? I think I have given a program to check the given number is palindrome or not. Make use of a while loop there. Okay. Given which one we have to use, I have given. Only discuss the concepts you are making use. Okay. Fine then. Have a nice day. Let us meet on Monday. Have
Thank
a
you,
nice
ma'am.
week. Have a nice weekend.
You too, ma'am. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.